Well, hello. It has been a while. I'm back for a video today, and gonna recap some stuff, go over some stuff, and cut and split some wood. Just the classic good time splitting some wood. So I have not made a video for a while, and it's just been, things have been busy. I've been busy. The weather hasn't been cooperating. A lot of the things I'm doing right now, I don't feel like taking a video of. So yeah, I haven't made a video. I have been busy. Last week, the week before, I got a hold of a woods that had been logged, and I've been working on getting wood out of there. The logger came in, dropped all the trees, cut what he wanted out of it, left the rest. You know how it goes. So luckily I was able to get a hold of that, and I've got this pile of logs. There's 2 dump trailers here and the little pile of ash here, and I've got another probably 2 or 3 heaping dump trailers left over there that I've got to get. I got all the wood out. I cut it where I wanted to. Like, I cut them all into logs, drug it out with the MT, and I put it in a pile. But the problem that I've got now is I've got to cross a creek to get them up to my trailer. So I got to wait for it to dry out because it has been raining a ton here. And that leads me to my next point. Speaking of the rain, we had the Hoosier Firewood hysteria last weekend here in Indiana, and it was an awesome time. It rained on Saturday. It's a 2-day event. It rained Saturday. You know, you saw the videos. To be honest, I had to have no videos, pictures, nothing from Hoosier Firewood hysteria. Just helping out with the event. I was just so busy, and I didn't feel like doing any video, and there's everybody else was taking good video, so I didn't mess with it. But overall, an awesome event. It's just that event every year is just so humbling to see everybody come out for a good cause, and just put in the work. And especially this year that it rained, everybody stuck around and they finished the job. They saw the job through. I know there was, you know, some people that didn't want to get wet and stuff, and the weather was nasty, but for the most part, just so proud of everybody and thankful that people find it worthwhile to come out and do something like this for the veterans. So very, very pleased and thankful about all that. Just, yeah, really pleased and thankful. I think that this was our biggest event that has ever happened with the crappiest weather. But I would say the team of organizers, obviously Mike K&L Firewood, you know, he's the main guy, but the rest of us that help out with him, we definitely learned where we can improve on for the next one, and yeah, well, what to do, what not to do, that kind of thing. But yeah, overall good time. Met a lot of good people, and a lot of people that had never been there before came out, and we had some chainsaw racing, which was super fun, super exciting. I know not everybody's into chainsaw racing and ported chainsaws, and yeah, it's just firewood. You just got to cut the wood, blah blah blah. But it's fun when you add a little bit of competition into it about like who saws faster and kind of the race in the chainsaw. So I think next year we're going to try to you know, set some time aside and some logs aside for, you know, some chainsaw racing, because it's a fun time. But speaking of that, you know, met some chainsaw guys, and you know, they had their bad habits and put them on me. So I bought a new saw the next day, and I shipped it off yesterday to get modified, and gonna look forward to when that comes back. So you'll have to stick around. Hopefully it's back in a few weeks or whenever, and it's gonna be a ripper. But until then, we're just gonna cut some wood today, split some wood. Like I said, enough rambling. I just want to recap with you, and yeah, let's go. That is my impression of Todd's outside again, stacking my rounds. I know Todd loves to stack his rounds, and we give him a hard time about it. So yeah, stacked up. Let me know, or you don't even have to comment, just what do you think? Think that'll make a basket? It was 4 logs. They're kind of long. Usually it takes about 6 about 8-inch walnut logs to make a basket of wood, so that will be close if it makes it. But now I'm gonna get out the trusty old mini bob here. Hey, she was a trooper last weekend at Hysteria. Mud bogging machine. Yeah, gonna get it out, get the split fire out, and we're gonna split some wood. Well, that thing is full, like plumb full, more than a third of a cord. That's nice. I was kind of wondering if it would be, like I said earlier in the video, but yeah, thing worked good. This is some of the nicest ash I've seen in a long time. I have not had ash probably since like last summer, and it wasn't this good. This stuff is like no punk. It's nice and tight. Like when you cut it, it cuts hard. It splits really nice though, because the grain is so tight that it, like once you get into it, it busts open. But yeah, speaking about ash, that's pretty much the only thing that I'm going to split between now and probably the fall, because all of my totes are full except 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the 5th. Everything's full and drying for the fall, which is awesome, ahead of schedule. And so yeah, I do have tons of ash logs coming. I went and looked at them like a month ago now, and they're all sitting in a field where I can't get to right now because it's wet. But yeah, once it dries out, I will be going to get those ash logs, and I will probably, that's probably all I'm going to split, because I know the ash isn't going to take as long to dry. So if I get it split, you know, between now and a month or two, it'll be nice and ready to go by the winter time. So yeah, I'll probably start splitting that. Yeah, whatever, you get it. That pile and whatever else I bring in this summer is going to sit until the baskets start emptying in the fall. So good problem to have. But yeah, that's where I'm at with my stuff. There will be little cutting and splitting in the next several months. It'll probably just be mainly, for me anyways, going and picking up wood and accumulating wood for the winter time, man. Again, like I said, great problem to have. I wish I had more wood already here, but do what you got to do. So that'll be it for this one. Thanks for joining me. And a real quick closing thoughts. I was thinking about this whenever I was splitting wood. When I talked about the Hoosier Firewood hysteria earlier, and how grateful I was and humbled that everybody came out. But I also wanted to make a point too. So many great people came out, but the manufacturers came out. Wolf Ridge and Easton Made came out last year, and it was nice and stuff last year. But this year they came out and they brought equipment. Splitfire came too, and they worked. You know, it wasn't like a trade show that they go to where, you know, they run maybe a cord all weekend of split wood or a few cords. Wolf Ridge split a ton of wood, like dump trailer after dump trailer of wood with their equipment. And Bob Nelson and his helper, I can't remember his name, but he said he was getting into sales. Sorry, I can't remember your name. He said he was bad with names too when I introduced him, so I don't feel so bad. But those guys split a lot of wood. The Splitfire guys, those guys split a lot of wood. Easton Made came out, and Mark, the sales guy, he ran a semi-truckload through the processor. And I don't know, it's just, they don't have to do it. They didn't have to do it, and we're so grateful for it. I know I can speak for the rest of the guys there. We're grateful for you guys, and we appreciate it. And Splitfire and Easton Made, they're not even in America. This event was to support the American veterans, their campground. These guys are Canadian, and they're coming out, they're crossing the border, all that entails in that, bringing equipment and splitting wood for these guys. So it's just awesome. So like I said, so grateful, so humble. It's just a great event. So yeah, I hope there's an event next year, and I hope to see you there. Till then, I will see you next time.